The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Open, so if you want to hear from your deceased loved ones, feel free to call or discuss anything about mediumship. And while I'm waiting, I want to talk to you guys about grief. Just so you know, it's okay if you're not there when your loved one gets ready to cross over. Some people have said to me, I feel bad because I wasn't there when my loved one passed away. And I remembered something that somebody said to me a long time ago. Were you there for them when they needed you? And I said, yes. Then you don't have to feel anything, to feel bad or anything. And with grief, there's many ways you can deal with grief. Counseling is good. You can write a letter to your deceased loved one. I know I talked about that with you guys before. And, write out all your feelings. And if, it's okay when you get ready to do whatever kind of services you're doing, you could put it in that box or, with them at the service, or if it's okay with the, your family or whatever. The other thing, too, is what we did when my sister passed away is we actually celebrated her birthday with cupcakes when she had her birthday. Even though wasn't physically with us, she was there spiritually with us, so we could do that, and we wished her a happy birthday. And it was really nice because it would help with the grieving process too as well. And like you guys know, over time will heal. And knowing that your loved one's at peace and not suffering anymore. I just recently experienced this stuff, something with my children, and we were there with somebody when they passed away. And even though they're not there in their physical body, I was holding their hand, and I said to them, it's okay to go. It's okay to cross over. Only if it's your time to go, of course. But it was nice because when I said to the person, the kids are safe, they have a warm tummies in their belly and a roof over their head. And then I told them to go meet, your family members, because your family members are there, to greet you and welcome you with open arms. I said, go meet Papa and go meet Johnny. It's okay to go. And with that, and the person wouldn't let go of my hand, so even though they physically weren't there at all, I could tell. I said to my guys, my hand, it's not, he's not letting go. And they said, oh, they thought that was interesting, actually. And when I said to him, it's okay to pass, it's okay to cross over, and he just went peacefully into sleep. He looked at us and opened his eye just a little bit, and it was nice. But like I said, it's okay if you're not there. It's, to be with them, because that happened to me one time with one of my close girlfriends years and years ago. But in the meantime, I would like to share something, kind of fun with you guys. It was, when you hear me talk about birthdays a lot of times, it goes way back to when I first started developing as a medium. I would go to the graveyards, and a lot of times it was funny because it was during a birthday or a celebration or certain times of the year, but I didn't realize it till I was in the graveyard. And I was talking to my daughter one time, and I said, oh my goodness, and she said, what? Tomorrow's so-and-so's birthday, and we were like looking at each other. So that's why when you hear me mention birthday cakes and different things, it's symbolic about with the person that's getting the reading. And I do get a lot of like birthdays, and things like that in a reading. And it's really, really nice. So that's one of the things. And one other time years ago with electricity, when my uncle passed away, a friend of mine came in, and he said, "I got to tell you something." I said, "What?" He said, "Your uncle passed away. He was in his lazy boy chair. He watched the Late Late Show after that, and probably anything else, And I said, "Okay." And I was really sad because I was really close to this particular uncle. Not that I wasn't close to my other uncles, but this one especially. And we had the services and, the funeral and everything that day. When we came back to the house, it was really interesting because when we got in, nobody was there at the house. And all of a sudden I looked up at the TV set. And the TV was all snowy. You know how when your TV set gets all snowy? I know you guys know that anyways. But it was really interesting because I said to my, friend, I said, Uncle Charlie was letting me know he was around because nobody was there. And it was interesting how the TV set went on all by itself and nobody was there. And, that was just his way of letting me know he was around. And it was amazing because do pay attention because sometimes you'll smell like a perfume or something that they had worn, a special cologne that they wore, or smell flowers. Those are just some of the signs and symbols that your loved ones are letting you know, hey, we're here. We're looking down on you, and that's really wonderful to know that, they're giving us signs from the heavens and the other side. And I said to myself, I go, that's really interesting to know because one time I was in the kitchen, it was when my sister passed away, and it was another sign. I'm talking about signs and symbols today too. And all of a sudden, my father had to go get her. He was 87, I think at the time. He lived to be 92 himself, actually. And he had to go to Jamaica because she was overseas. And when you have to bring somebody home from another country, you have to wait 2 weeks to, go through all the legal processing with everything. And so I said to him, did you come in at this time? Because all of a sudden I was in the kitchen making lunch, and the windows weren't open at all in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, with the big breeze just came up against me, and I was just like totally on a wow. Joanne's home, and I knew it was her, and she came home that day, and I thought that was amazing. So there are signs that people will say that they're there, and it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to be sad too, because that's all healing. And mediumship to me is about healing. And what you're looking for in a reading, it might not be like this whole long gibberish stuff, and that people like, everybody works differently as a medium. And so I said to my friend one time, I said, sometimes readings are general. And she said, but sometimes they can. But that's what I had learned, went to somebody who was a very good teacher, actually. And she said, ask for the special piece of evidence. And so they will give that, which is really, really nice. You'll see something, and all of a sudden, it's like a wow type of thing. And, it helps. It really does help. And, it was interesting to learn that because, to grieve, it's better, like my daughter said to my daughter Michelle, actually, hi, and she said to me, it's okay to cry, Ma, and stuff like that. And I said, it's definitely okay to cry, it's healing and everything. And, just with the grieving part of the piece of the puzzle. But, I said to her, I go, just a reminder, because even though I'm a medium, I'm human too. I'm like everybody else, It's just a little different, and things like that. But I said, I have feelings too, like everybody else. So, yeah, I'm going to be sad too, and things like that. And just with the signs and symbols, do pay attention, because those are really real, and share memories with your loved one, because that helps with healing and all that stuff. And it's nice because it's like keeping the memories alive, because as a person was getting ready to pass away, I was bringing up all the good times. I said, anything, just forget it. It's past, and all that stuff. And all the fun times, all the fun things we did, and just go over stories and share memories, rather it be if you're with the person that's getting ready to cross over, or at a, wake or funeral or a service of whatever religion you are, because it's wonderful and it does help. And, I just think, those are things, we forget, we humans forget, you can't get through it. It gets better. It's not all easy. The first time the holidays come around, it's very hard. I'll be the first to admit it. But then after time, it gets easier with time. And, it does, help you go through the 7 stages of grief, and things like that. So it gets easier. You'll still miss your loved one. It's just different. But the pain is, a lot easier to deal with. And I just want to share those things with you. The drawings. I'm going to switch gears with you guys. I'm good at that, by the way. When I first started drawing, I was going to Plymouth, actually. And I started drawing faces. A little bit before that, I dabbled with it. And I said to my daughter, Melissa, I did a drawing, and I said, should I take it with me when we go on a ghost hunting tour? And she said, take it with you, Ma. So I said, okay. And when, I started, the drawing, I didn't draw for a whole year. Some woman, as you guys will see it in my roll-ins at the beginning of the show, of the lady at the 1800s. And it was amazing, because we went down to Plymouth. I met with the tour guide, my buddy Frank Trouble. Hi, Frank. And Andrew. And I said to him, he said, take your drawing out, Karen. And I said, okay, because you can show the tour guide. He said, oh my God. She came over to us. She said, well, I want to take you guys separate to go up to the house where I got something to show you. And as I was going up there, I see spirit children a lot too, and when I draw. And so I said to her, okay. And I said, I feel a little girl that's around us, and she has blonde hair. It went down to the shoulders, blue eyes, and an old gown, like not from our century, the long white nightgowns that they had and back in the day. And that's what it was like, I think, in the 1800s, or maybe a little bit later time frame. And she said, I got something to show you. And I said, what? And she showed me a photograph of the little girl. And I said, oh my goodness. I thought it was really, really interesting when she showed me the photograph. I was like, oh my God. And I thought it was really kind of cool. So as we're waking up our way up the hill, we finally got to the house, and we went in, and I started giving more readings and stuff like that. And she said, I want you to come over here and look at this. And I said, what? She said, this is the drawing you have of the lady from the 1800s. I was like, oh my goodness. And I was thrilled, because the only thing that was off, like a little bit, maybe it could have been a younger version, because you older guys like to come in looking younger. And you're always going to hear me say, you need to let me know what you look like, so that way the person knows what you look like that's coming through. And it was funny, because I said that, and that they started getting better with that with me, and then you can go back to, having a full head of hair or whatever. But she showed it to me, and I gave it to her. I said, here, this is for you. I want you to have this. And she said, thank you very, very much. I'll put it up when I can put it up. There were certain times she couldn't put it up, so I can't really say. But I said thank you to her. And as we continued the ghost tour, it was really interesting. The energy was very strong. You know how, guys, if you've been to Plymouth, how strong it is down there anyways, because you're near the water. And like Easton, it's all trees and everything. So you feel the energy more. And as the night got darker, the energies got stronger. And the tour guide said, you're going to hear so-and-so talking during the tour and things like that. It was just amazing. It was a fun night. But that's what I wanted to share. And I'm going to get going with the drawing on my pad of paper. And if anybody does recognize who's coming through, feel free to call the station and let them know you know who it is. And I'll leave it here. And I'm going to continue talking while I'm drawing, because you guys know me a little bit by now. It's a little boy. And I just wanted to share some little stories with you guys, too, to let you know it's okay when a loved one passes away. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve. And just remember, like, the happy times you had together. It's okay. And you'll see my hand going fast. It's just, like I said, it's automatic drawing. And this is what I call a quick sketch. And I feel like he wasn't from Easton, this little boy. There was another one I drew when I was on QATV. He had the older style haircut. And those are just the little things that, I'd like to share, talk with you guys about. And sometimes I said to somebody asked me a question, even I say, I don't have all the answers to everything, I'm just a human too, like everybody else. He had big white eyes. Like children do when they are young. And I just get it going with him. When I get done with him a little bit more, I'll show Adam. And it takes a lot of energy to come through what you give in a reading. People don't really realize it's your energy. And I'm more than happy to share my gifts of mediumship. And everybody's gifted. It just depends on where you're at with your gifts. This is what we have so far, Adam. And if anybody can recognize it at home, feel free to call the station. And children are not alone on the other side. and neither are your relatives. And people have say to me, "Can you tell them I said hello?" I need to let you guys know. You guys can say hi to them too, because they are listening in. Down from heaven, or on the other side. Oh, and the one nice thing I want to share with you with the grieving process is one nice thing we did when the kids lost a friend just before graduation. And I said, why don't we get some balloons? And they said, oh, that would be really wonderful, Ma. So we got balloons, and at the graduation, we got one for Papa too, because Papa had passed away and he wasn't there physically for the graduation. And I said, I'll listen for when they mention your names, and I'll release the balloons then. And we got like 3 of them, and you could just bring balloons. It doesn't even have to be when they passed. If you want to just release one when you feel like it, just a little bit of sending messages to heaven that way and to the other side with spirits. They are looking, they do see those things. And that's really awesome. And I said, this is for you. And it was so nice. And of course I left my eraser in the bag. And also, too, keep a journal. You can write all your feelings down in a journal, too, and write messages and letters in that journal to your loved one. That's on the other side, too, as well. It's got to look a little cartoony. It's just I left my eraser in the bag. Those are just little things I wanted to share with you, and some stories in between. And it's also with the reading too. Somebody said to me one time, you always bring up about their aches and pains, and I said, but everybody has aches and pains when you cross over, especially when they get to be like my age, and things like that. So it's about them. So that's how I feel. That's really important. So and they like to talk and tell their stories and share their memories. And a lot of times, I did talk to my friend, and she said to me, did you notice that when you tell a family member, like that's passing away, that they can go meet their families and friends and everything is going to be good? I said, yeah. And then they just drifted off and went to sleep and peaceful. Like I said, it's got to look a little cartoony. He's more done. And he didn't suffer. He had big, big eyes. Light colored hair. That's why I'm not going dark with his hair. So I gotta see what pencil I have. 2B. Gotta get my HB back. But those are just some of the things I wanted to share with you today. Oh, and please appreciate each other, because life really is too short. You gotta hear me say that a lot when I do my show, just because you just don't know. The time you say goodbye could be the last time, especially if somebody is sick, in the hospital. And love is eternal. Love never dies. I'm going to draw a little football over here because he liked football. I'm not very good at some things. Let's improve it though. This passing was quick, like I said. You'll see me slouch it over a little bit too, because this is how I draw. He liked football and basketball and nature. I'll draw a basketball over here. And little bugs and spiders. But I'm drawing a ladybug. I'm not very good at drawing spiders yet. And he's actually wishing somebody in his family a happy birthday. And there he is. There's the football, basketball, and the little ladybug. And he likes spiders too. My daughter Michelle doesn't like spiders, and I always have a little fun with her because I'll always go like this with her when I see her. The little noise that I make. And he's not alone on the other side. He's with family. He wasn't a recent death. Yeah, loved ones are gone but not forgotten. Yeah, just a thought away. And, like I said, we're going to be here at the end of the month again, so tune in and have a good sandwich and get a good glass of Coca-Cola or something and put your TV sets on. And sit back and relax. I don't scare anybody the first time, maybe the second time. But I don't like to give out any bad news or anything bad. What I do spirit reading is just to let you guys know. And I was kind of all over the place. I just kind of like to let things flow because I don't want to be like a statue with a stiff speech in my hand. So that's why when I talk, I do go off. But then I get back to, bringing myself back to where I was. So that's a good thing. And thank you for inviting me into your homes. And there's the next episode. Oh, and when you do call, if you watch my other videos, don't give me any information because you guys get excited and I know you like to talk. And I said, don't do that because that's what we call feeding the medium information. That's a no-no in Karen's book of things of not to do.